Good morning, this is the Eager Beaver Show.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
I forgot to turn the camera on, sorry.
Well, good morning and hello, kids, and welcome to Season 3 and episode number 266 of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Crier Media Network. Yeah! Today, recording day is Tuesday, December 5th, 2023, and we are back with you live after a couple of pre-records because, well, Mr. Grizzly had some vacation time, some overdue vacation time, and took it. And, well, yours truly took advantage of it to, to get as horizontal as possible, as often as possible over the past few. And sadly, it does not sound as dirty as it wasn't as dirty as it sounds. Let's put it that way.
You were just trying to get some Zeds, right?
Just trying to get some Zeds, and it worked, I have to say. So I am feeling much better. And I got word that the APAT machine has arrived. So after the show, I'm going to pick it up, get trained on how to use it. And my next 6 weeks as Darth Vader's child starts.
Oh, you're doing a for sleep apnea, is it?
Yep. But it's apparently the difference between CPAP and APAP is CPAP is constant and APAP is only as needed, because apparently I don't snore throughout the night or something, and it's not really severe apnea, so yeah, it's a different type of thing. But anyway, it has arrived, so sweet relief. A big thank you goes to our podcast's founding sponsors, the Peppermaster, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. We have somebody that will be stopping in for a quick conversation, hence the welcome Ray right up there, former Crier Media alumnus. So we'll have him joining us. We're going to be talking about a farewell, or maybe a see you later that is is happening today. We'll get into that.
Okay.
I think
I have no idea what's going on.
No, Mr. Grizzly has no idea what's going on. Thank you to our podcast funding sponsors, the Purrr-fect, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, CanadianTarot.com. I think I may have said that already, but they're so nice, we say it twice. And before we continue, let's ask Mr. Grizzly, how's your mental health today, sir, and how was your trip?
Mental health, I think, is good, although I'm a little jet lagged and very tired. Trip was good. Accomplished a couple of things. Had some leisure time as well. Like it was a pseudo business, pseudo leisure trip. So a little bit of both was accomplished, which was good.
Nice.
Had some things that needed to be dealt with and were dealt with. So I can't really get into it because there's some matters of a personal nature. But it was good. I got to see a couple of friends and took some time on Sunday and went to the Canadian Music Hall of Fame in the National Music Center, which was really cool. So, I got to see some really excellent, cool guitars and costumes and stage wear in that. And Randy Bachman's guitar that was stolen 45 years ago that he just got back, he donated it's on loan to the museum.
Okay.
So it was a Chet Atkins Gretsch that was given to him by Chet Atkins. So it was kind of cool.
Oh my word, that's great. So, yeah, after having it gone for 45 years, I thought he might have done a tour with it first before he donated it. It's like, I missed you. Let's stay together for a while.
Well, he got it back during COVID. So
Okay. Yes, then he might have time with
no,
it. Yeah. Okay.
exactly.
Okay, good.
So
All right. There's lots of stuff that has happened over the course of the weekend. But
really, I have no idea.
well, yes. But before we do anything, because we only have him for a short time, we have a special guest here. You know what? I actually just realized I don't actually know how we pronounce his last name because he's never actually said it in front of me. So I'm going to go with
think
Ray
it's-
Rauth.
I thought it was Rauth.
Rauth? Yeah, Rauth.
He'll
maybe
tell
sounds
us.
better.
Let's bring him in.
Yes. Hello,
How's
hello,
it going, guys?
pretty good. How are
Good, you?
you?
Good.
Oh, great. It's so nice to see your face. And of course, before we do that, because we didn't do an absolute proper intro here, and for some reason your intro did not. Oh, yes, there we go. The Chief Brand Officer and Director of Marketing for Job Skills and Compass Magazine, and the reason for which he's here today, soccer enthusiast. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me here today. I was like, yeah, let's talk Christine St. Clair, but you've got me for this very tight window in the morning. So I appreciate the accommodation. And let me just start because I haven't got to talk to you guys since I saw the news. Congratulations on the podcast rankings. I saw it and couldn't have gone to two more deserving people. So just congratulations, guys.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
friend.
Thank you very much.
It's so nice to be on a podcast with you. I miss it.
I know it's been so long. And by the way, you guys were both really close. My last name is Rauth.
Rauth. No H.
Okay.
No H. H is
So the
silent.
H is quiet, silent. Yeah.
All right. Well, you wanted to speak Christine Sinclair because this is a very, very big day in sporting history for Canada. So please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. You guys were very generous to give me this opportunity. I quit podcasting in August, and I said, when someone asked me if I'd ever go back, I said it would have to take something very special or someone very special to get me back behind the mic. I know I'm not really behind the mic, but to come on to a show and talk. And Christine St. Clair playing her final game for Canada tonight is that special moment to come. And I think for me, it was like I was thinking about what I wanted to say about Christine today. And when you think about the impact that she didn't just make on the women's game, that she made on the game in this country, because before Christine St. Clair, soccer was, or football, however you want to call it, was completely irrelevant in this country. We had the 1986 men's team, didn't score a goal at the World Cup, and we didn't sniff a World Cup at all. And it was kind of a really cool parallel. I was thinking about this the other day. So in 2002, we had Vince Mania in Toronto, and Vince Carter was really bringing the game of basketball to Canada and influencing young basketball players all across the country. And at the same time that Vince Carter was starting to do that influence, Christine St. Clair was making her debut for Team Canada. And I thought about that great parallel. Here's where two sports that were, soccer had a European following here from European immigrants, and basketball had, very little following. And it was really two of the most, I would say top 5 influential athletes of our time at the same time, really coming onto the scene and bringing it. But when you think of Christine, and the way I say with her legacy is there is a lot of both boys and girls who are on the field right now because of 12, but it's not just the impact she made from a success level. It's the impact that she made as being a fierce advocate, and I believe giving fans a voice. When I was still with Crier Media, I was covering the Canada soccer story when they cut their budget in January, the same year as the World Cup. I was covering the strike going into it. And I've never collectively seen as a country where 80% of the country stood up, and the president of Canada Soccer stepped down. Like, he crumbled under the pressure and he left because the outcry was so powerful. And then you look at what happened in Spain this year with FIFA after the Women's World Cup champions, and their creepy president of their football federation. And the outpour from the world and the voices of both men, women players standing united against it and forcing Spain, who were backing him every step of the way, to force him out of the federation. And players like Christine St. Clair have to be thanked for that, because she's been an outspoken player for so long and a player of prominence who's been speaking for so long and has given voices to young women, but also just the people in general. And what I really think that she did is we always talk about, soccer being one game, and she brought the game to being one game. She brought it to its, I'm still hoping for the days that we stop with the men's league and the women's league. I mean, I know they'll always be separate, but it's just soccer. It's like, it's not just the women's World Cup and it's the World Cup. We just have 2 World Cups, right? Like, and we're starting to move towards that. And if people out there don't believe that the Richie Lareyes and the Alfonso Davies of the world who were representing Canada in Qatar a few years ago weren't somewhat influenced by Christine Sinclair 20 years ago, you're out of your mind. Yeah. She's had that impact on this country like that. And when I think about, at least in my opinion, when you think about, say those top 5 moments for Canadian sport, obviously the Crosby golden goal, the Belledeau winning the first gold medal in Vancouver, like you have those imprints. Tokyo 2020 and Christine Sinclair finally getting her gold medal, but just a team that I believe deserved to finally be on that stage and stand on the podium. And I mean, going into this Olympics, we're still talking about the defending gold medal champions. Right. And it's because of those pioneers like Christine Sinclair, Diana Matheson, who, these were these players who paved the way. Now we have a professional women's professional women's soccer league coming to Canada in 2025. And it really comes down to Christine Sinclair and how she influenced her teammates back in 2002 and onward, and the legacy and the massive footsteps she's going to leave behind. And I just really wanted to come out here and say thank you. And I put this on Twitter the other day, and I mean it. There's no applaud loud enough. There's no accolade great enough that is going to fully capture what Christine did for this country, both from a soccer perspective, but also uniting the country in a way, and what she's done for women's sports moving forward.
Yep. I have to absolutely agree. And I like the comment that you said, we're getting to a place where it's not like the men's World Cup and the women's World Cup. It's just, we have 2 World Cups, because like you said, a lot of people will talk about her as, she influenced young girls, but she influenced everyone, boys and girls. I mean, boys are wearing 12 Sinclair on their back.
Yes.
Right? Which is unheard of in sport.
Well, and let's not forget, she scored more international goals than any human being in history, period. Not male, female, any living, breathing human being, period. You can never take that away.
No.
Never.
And it's funny because if you talk to somebody who doesn't know the sport and you were to ask them, they'd say the names they know, Ronaldo, Messi. And I think a lot of, it's like, no, it's a woman, and it's Christine, right?
Yep.
And yeah, I think that for me too, I think one of the things that I've always been the proudest of, I mean, there was a time that she was the 2nd best player in the world, and there's no shame in being number 2 to Marta from Brazil, who's probably one of the greatest players to ever even touch the pitch. Man, woman, doesn't matter.
Right.
So to play second fiddle to her, as you will. And at the World Cup this year, when the 2 of them came together, I think it was wasn't at the World Cup. They both play in the United States Women's League, and they came together and exchanged jerseys. And you just saw these 2 legends on the field who were both walking away from the game, and you just think like, I mean, I remember that finals. And then, I'll also throw Prince in, who was on the German team back in the early 2000s. Those were probably 1, 2, and 3. And those were just really the catalyst for women's soccer. And it's just, tonight it's going to be an emotional night. But if we can talk about it from a sports perspective, because I should probably weigh in on that a little bit, because that's what I do. I am very happy that Christine is leaving. I'm very happy that she's going out on top like this, because in the World Cup, it wasn't the Christine Sinclair that we learned and loved, right? And I hate...
It wasn't the Team Canada we knew and loved.
Yes, the whole team. And I hated sitting there screaming at the TV saying, take Christine out. It's just something that, you know what I mean? Like that, just that hit. And I'm just... I'm so happy that we can applaud her tonight. And to the great people of Vancouver, you're not going to do her justice, and it's not your fault, because nobody could do justice to what this woman has done. And yeah, there's the shot there. I mean, look at that. Like, that's just 2 legends of the game.
Yeah.
And one of them is ours.
Mhm.
one of them is ours, and it's not a hockey player. So I'm so
Yeah.
excited. And guys, I just really thank you so much for when this was happening. I had to talk about it. I didn't know where to talk about it, and I really appreciate you both for letting me come here
Oh,
and talk about it.
no, our pleasure. Totally, totally. Because I mean, if we had to talk about one thing today that wasn't strictly politics, and we can't even say that this is not strictly politics, because what she did for pay equity, what she did for
Mhm.
advancing the game, how they stood up just basic workers' rights, to everything
Period.
that was
Yeah.
going on. I mean, that World Cup was unforgettable. And Soccer Canada's the Canada Soccer screwed the men over also with the marketing deals before going to the
Yep.
World Cup and everything. But they sent the team there with one hand behind their back, negotiating a contract while they were freaking playing. Right. And
Yeah.
here's the
You
proof
got
in
to
the
get your head out of the
here's
game,
the
right?
proof in the pudding, right? Is like that last match that they played at the World Cup. They lost to Australia 4-0. The friendly they just played the other night, they won 5-0.
Yeah.
And Australia was a team, and I think a little bit had to do because it was hosting it.
Mhm.
There were the team but the federation and the country put a ton of money into it
Oh, yeah.
because they wanted to see them succeed, and
They
that's what
deserved it.
happens. I mean, if the Vancouver Olympics wasn't proof, if you put the financial investment behind your athletes, like I don't know what is. And
Right.
when people were very, because I always say, like, there's soccer fans and there's World Cup fans, right? They're the
Mhm.
ones, they're fans every 4 years.
Yes.
And when they were talking to me about how bad Canada was, and I was trying to explain to them, like, could you imagine negotiating a contract while you're on the plane on the way to Australia to play World Cup? Like, that should not be. How do you get into that locked in razor mindset, right?
Mhm.
But
You're disappointed with your own federation. I mean, they literally had quotes from there saying, "We're disappointed,"
yeah,
during the tournament.
yeah, it was disgusting. But anyways, guys, I do have to step away, but I really appreciate having me on. And just, I know she's not watching, but maybe she will one day. Christine, what you've done for me, my daughters, me as a soccer coach, thank you, thank you, thank you. And it takes a lot for me to watch a 10 o'clock game here in
Mhm.
Ontario,
Yeah.
but I will be doing the late watch tonight, so I can watch a send off. And shout out to TSN for doing the right thing and picking up the broadcast and
Yes.
making sure that all of Canada is able to properly say goodbye. Thank you, fellas.
I'll be tuning in.
Bye, friend.
Thanks, Ray.
Thanks.
Good to see you, buddy. You take care.
Yeah. I have to agree with that because for me, to be totally honest, soccer,
Mhm.
totally uninterested.
Right.
Totally uninterested. Low scoring, big field, ball just being kicked around. Every now and then someone takes a shot, misses the goal by a country mile.
Wow.
Saying that it's not like the net isn't big enough. And then all the diving with no water. So I wasn't a fan until I watched her play. And then, when we had the World Cup here in Canada, and there was a
Mhm.
stop in Ottawa, I didn't get to see Team Canada play, but I bought a ticket to see Norway versus England. I actually bought a ticket to go see
Well,
live.
I got to see the Team USA game, so I was lucky enough to see a couple of legends on the pitch that day too.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then, the men's team started doing well, and then I watched that. But for me, there was, I honestly, I would have rather watched paint dry
Mm.
than soccer
Well,
until she came
I
along.
get it. I get it. But well, that's the thing. She made it exciting to cheer for Canada soccer for the first time ever.
Mhm. And
Right. And when they won their bronze, and I say won their bronze
yes,
after they were robbed of the opportunity to
yes,
play for the gold medal game in
yes,
London in 2012,
yes,
Diana Matheson scored the winning goal. And a few months later, I'm at the pump, Lieutenant's Pump on a Friday evening with my buddies. And I looked out on the patio and I go, holy shit, that's Diana Matheson.
Mhm.
And oh, her name is escaping me right now. She played goal at
Stephanie
the
Levy?
time. No.
Oh,
The goaltender. She was the goalkeeper at the time. Darn it. Anyway, they walked into the pub and they stood right there. And I'm like, I just jumped out and I go, oh my God, Team Canada. And they're like, oh, thank you. And she goes, Team Canada. I go, I know. So Friday night in Calgary, and my buddy brought me to this, like it was a pseudo party business thing, right?
mhm.
Which was part of the reason I was there. And sitting there talking away around the kitchen and having a conversation with this gentleman who I just met. And I was telling him about it. I said, I meet celebrities, musicians, athletes. Yeah. Hey, nice to meet you. Actors. The only person that I ever get starstruck about, and I say person, is an Olympic athlete.
Right. Same here.
I get excited, and I've said this on the show before. I meet an Olympic athlete, and I'm genuinely a little boy excited because, unlike a hockey player, or a football player, or a basketball player, or a politician, or a musician, or an actor, they're all in it for, sure, the passion, but there's a payday for all of them. In Olympic sports, there's no guarantee you'll ever make a penny, even if you win a medal. There's no guarantee. So it's pure passion and love of the sport. So for me, it's just the pureness of the athletic endeavor that attracts me to Olympic athletes. And I mean attracts, I don't mean, I mean the appeal to me. So I'm sitting there and I'm talking about this and I'm really passionate about it. And my buddy goes, "Hey, Paul, why don't you ask Rod there, how many daughters you have versus he has that have won Olympic medals?" And I went, "What?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, you didn't know?" I go, "Didn't know what? I just met the man a moment ago. What's the deal?" He goes, "Oh, well, this gentleman and his lovely wife, who I met, lovely people. We had a nice chat, and now I've got a new buddy. This is their daughter."
Ooh, yes.
Team Canada ski jumper, bronze medalist in the
team event.
That's
at the
right.
last Olympics.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, how about that?
Yeah, so here I am waxing on about my love and appreciation and admiration for Olympic athletes and the amount of work they put into pursuing their sport. And I was doing it to parents of an Olympic athlete, unknowingly.
There you go.
So right away they realized, yeah, this guy's for real. There's nothing phony about this guy. I didn't know who that, So at the end of the night, Rod's like, "I have a new buddy." He goes, "I haven't made a new buddy or a new friend in a long time." And I go, "Bud, I'm loving hanging out with you."
Were you talking about Karina LeBlanc?
Yes, thank you. Yes. Okay. I was blanking on her name for a minute.
Stephanie Levin with
the weird part
the previous
was
Olympics.
I remembered her. Well, she was in 2012.
Yes.
And I remembered her name, and Diana Matheson's name just emptied my brain at the time.
Yeah. Oh, no. I'm the same way about Olympic athletes because, I curl, and the thing with curlers, it's one of those few sports where you actually get to meet the athletes. Sometimes they show up at your tournaments every now and then if there's a lull or something. So, it's like Craig Saville I've met, and two of the women that won the silver at the Vancouver Olympics. And I remember the one and only time I've tried luge. I actually went to Calgary Olympic Park, and we were hoping that was a bobsledding day, and it wasn't. It was luge day because, well, the Canadian national champions were there, and Jeff Christie was there. I guess, and I'm thinking, like, who in Canada knows Jeff Christie? I did because I was addicted to CBC Sports Weekend, and I would always watch, and I'd watch the luge, the bobsled. It's like Jeff Christie, and it's like he was just like standing there alone.
Just a regular guy.
A regular guy. You're just talking to him, and it's like, oh my God, Jeff Christie. It's like,
well, one of the things we wanted to try and do, my buddy he said, "I wanted to take you to we're good. Like, we went on a hike in Kananaskis, and we drive right by the ski jumping and the luge track and the bobsled track. And he said, I wanted to try and hook us up so we could do a bobsled run. He says, but the thing is, the track's not open yet. In the summer, they'll put wheels on it and you can go down. He says, but they only really have the track open 3 months a year. I'm like, what? I go, what a missed opportunity. I go, let me clue into this. Calgary, which is like a super capitalist city, let's make money wherever we can, has an opportunity here to make money and is not doing it.
Yeah. Well, I don't
understand.
They had the indoor push thing, which did help.
Yes.
But and you see that, and it really is just the pushing down thing. It's amazing. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, John Montgomery Skelton gold for medalist from Russell.
And he was able to turn it into a career with CTV and the Amazing Race, but largely because he was an auctioneer in his off hours. And when he won his medal and he's walking through the Olympic Village in Whistler, somebody handed him a pitcher of beer. So he drank the beer and then he auctioned it off, like, impromptu. And of course, like, that's PR you cannot create.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was just like instant moments. So he was able to turn it into a career. But again, with most Olympic athletes, they have to go back to a normal life afterwards.
Oh yeah. And just for kids who may not follow soccer, but if we talk about Christine Sinclair, just a couple of numbers: a 23-year playing career with the Canadian national women's soccer team. She's 40. She plays her final match for Canada tonight in Vancouver in an international friendly against Australia. 3 Olympic medals, including a gold. Competed in 6 FIFA World Cups.
That's got to be a record.
Yeah. Retires from the national team as the all-time top scorer in the history of international soccer for both men and women, with 190 goals in 330 games.
That's crazy.
Just incredible. Her first goal, scored on home soil, was in a 2-2 draw against the United States on June 30th, 2001 in Toronto. And at that time, she had already appeared in 28 games before getting to play in Canada, because there were no soccer games in Canada at the time. So they always played elsewhere. And in her first 28 games, she had scored 20 goals.
Wow.
Yeah. And that match that was played in which she scored her first goal here was attended by about 9,023 fans at the Toronto's Varsity Stadium, which at the time was the largest crowd ever to watch a Canadian women's home game. We've kind of blown past those numbers since. So
yeah, that was the nascent days, if you will.
Yeah.
She's created an awareness and a passion for the sport in this country that was heretofore unseen, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, right. Well, thank you, Christine. Hopefully tonight you will get all the love you deserve and then some. This is another one of these people, like one day, like they make her Governor General. Like,
well, she is.
Right, you can write her. She is like Clara Hughes. I think of her the same way. Right, she is the embodiment of the Olympic spirit. She is Canada on 2 legs. Right.
Yes.
This woman can write her ticket whenever she wants. And if people saw it, I don't think we can play it because it was from CBC, even though it was on YouTube. But there's about 1:30 clip somewhere where oh God, I forgot her name. The sportscaster, the lady. Oh darn. Anyway, she's showing her. She hands her a tablet, and it's Ryan Reynolds thanking her.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and suggesting that maybe she should come to Wrexham.
You know what? That would be a marketing coup for sure.
Absolutely. So apparently on the team on that little thing there, she said that welcome to Wrexham. Moving on in your career to Wrexham. It's huge for the town, the club. Smiled Reynolds in a video to Sinclair played on an interview with CBC. I think that you're going to probably be the key difference maker going forward up there in North Wales, and it's really interesting because like they're playing in like the 4th division or something. Right, but they're getting lots of attention, of course, because of Ryan Reynolds joining. And she said, for the right amount of money, I could go, saying that she loves the show and she loves Ron Reynolds gin,
Aviation gin.
Yes. So it seems she can hold her liquor as well.
Wow.
But
Canadian.
he said, what I really wanted to do is thank you, said Reynolds. I wanted to thank you for inspiring me, my kids all over Canada and the world, young, old, middle age. You're incredible and you deserve all the applause that hands could possibly give. Sending you tons of love. So, hey, who knows? Maybe she will end up.
I have the clip. I have the clip here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're allowed to show it, but because it would have been
It's
from a
CBC
broadcast,
Sports.
but okay.
It's CBC Sports. It should be okay. Well, and it's anyway. Here, we'll show a couple of seconds of it. And here we go.
Oh God, you're making me watch a video. Are you filming me watch this?
All right, ready?
No. My. I love Wrexham.
I just want to wish you all the best, all the love, and all the luck in retirement. Well, it's not really retirement. In moving on in your career to Wrexham. It's huge for the town, for the club. I think that you are going to be probably the key difference maker going forward up there in North Wales. Anyway, I wanted to send you lots of love. And what I really wanted to do was thank you. I wanted to thank you for inspiring me, my kids, kids all over Canada and the world, young, old, middle-aged. You're incredible. And you deserve all the applause that hands could possibly give. Sending you tons of love.
Okay.
You're going to Wrexham.
Okay. I mean, for the right amount of money, I could go. No, that's like one of the best ones. Like,
We'll send it to you.
yes, I need it.
It's yours.
I need.
And they said, and if you could like send his phone number too.
That was adorable.
Christine, if you get his phone number, can you send it to me? He's my backup plan in case. I think Ryan Reynolds is everybody's backup plan in case the
You think?
relationship doesn't work. Although I don't think I need to worry about that because my Beaver sweetie is absolutely wonderful and love on two legs. So I don't think I'm going
Did you
anywhere.
see his Sick Kids promo this weekend? It was
Yes,
released?
yes. We're gonna,
I just watched it this morning.
yes, we'll put that on an episode tomorrow because I do want to get some stuff today. But yeah, absolutely. How much time do we have, Mr. Grizzly?
About 10 minutes.
Okay, so we're going to go through a couple of things rather quickly then, Kits. I won't get through all the stuff because, well, there has been a lot of stuff. But probably the big news is that the Ontario Liberal leadership has been decided. For the first time in Ontario Liberal history, the new leader was elected directly by party members across Ontario with an equal voice given to all 124 ridings. So each one was worth 100 points. Even though about over 100,000 people registered to vote because there was no membership fee in order to be able to do that, only 22,827 cast ballots.
Wow.
That's still more than any other leadership in the election parties in the party's history. Nearly double the 13,000 who cast ballots in 2020 and the 19,500 about who cast leadership ballots in 2013. But it's still a relatively low turnout rate given the number. Part of the reason for that is because the Liberal Party of Ontario does not have official party status. They don't have funding. So for some reason, they did not organize electronic vote. But for some reason, I cannot understand, they also did not organize a vote by mail. So it was only in-person voting, which is the most expensive one to do because you have to get a room and you have to have people there and all that kind of stuff. And it was only for a few hours on one day on the weekend, not both days. So if you weren't available to vote at that particular time and go in person, you had no way of voting. Like I said, I know the party does not flush with finances, but I would have suspected that at least a mail-in vote would have been, but apparently not.
So who won?
So Bonnie Crombie did win.
I was afraid of that.
But it wasn't a blowout like people expected, especially given the hype. Now, Catherine McGarry, the party president, said to everyone who contributed to this leadership, the candidates, the volunteers, and the voters, thank you. Our party is stronger because you've reignited the movement. We're going to keep that momentum building under Bonnie Crombie's leadership, and we will defeat Doug Ford in 2026. And Bonnie Crombie, upon winning, said, thank you for believing in what we are going to build together. Thank you for taking a spark and turning it into a big red flame. There is no question, being an Ontario Liberal is back. Doug Ford and his Conservative government have shown they do not care about real people in Ontario. It's time to earn back the trust of our neighbours and to show that a government people can trust is an Ontario Liberal government. That's the job ahead of us. Let's go to work. Now, according to the votes that came out, the first round, we had Ted Hsu, who was on our show. And Ted kept on saying that if he could get through the first round, he had a chance. Unfortunately, that did not happen. He got 10% of the points. Yasser Naqvi got 21%. I'm rounding down or up. Nate Erskine-Smith 26 and Bonnie Crombie 43 on the first round. So Ted Hsu had dropped off the ballot in the first round.
That's unfortunate.
Yes. Now in the second round,
I thought Ted would have made a great leader personally.
I did
really
too.
did.
And again, I think if he had managed to get past the first round, there was a chance because there was an actual anybody but Crombie movement.
Oh yes.
Happened. Yeah. So the Ted Hsu vote split pretty much three ways. It didn't all go to one source. So in the second round, Yasser Naqvi had 24%, Nate Erskine-Smith had 29%, and Bonnie Crombie 46.7%. So she went from 43 to 46.7 in the second round. So this thing went the full 3 rounds. The hype was that it was probably going to be a first round victory. So it went the full 3 rounds. Now Yasser Naqvi, maybe he's not a name that's as well known to people, but he was the party president for a while. So he had a lot of connections and people that he knew from this time doing that, which is why he probably came ahead of Ted in the first round and was close enough to Nate Erskine-Smith in the second. There was only 5.3% difference. But he dropped off the ballot in the second round. And then the results of the third round were Nate Erskine-Smith 46.6, Bonnie Crombie 3.4. So of the 24% of the vote that was Yasser Naqvi's, about 18% of that went to Nate. Well, 18 of the 24% went to Nate. So there was a push.
See, my two, I was hoping that it would have been Ted. And if Ted couldn't win, I was hoping it was going to be Nate Erskine-Smith because they're the two guys I like. And again, Yasser Naqvi is my MP, and I like him, and I think he's a good MP, but he's kind of quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think right now what they need in that party is a loud, proud voice. And I don't think we're going to get that from Yasser. No knock against him. Like I said, he's a good MP. I just think he's a little too... and I think this. I literally think they need to up their style game when it comes to it right now because we need somebody bombastic and charismatic. And I'm not taking anything away, but I really thought Ted or Nate would have made a great leader. Bonnie Crombie, I think, for a large degree, to a lot of people, was going to win it right from the get-go.
Yep.
Well, I mean, she was the front runner right from the start, right?
Yeah. It was it really did give the impression that it was going to be, first round and it's going to be all Bonnie and that, like I said, that it went 3 rounds. And then when you break it down, it's like 53.6. It's almost like the Daniel Smith thing again in Alberta, where it wasn't a blowout.
Well, what Hugh says here, and again, the same thing that James says here. Crombie is Ford light. She's Doug Ford with an apology, and that's my concern. That's my concern about Bonnie Crombie, that she's just a variable or a variation of Doug Ford. Time will tell.
Time will tell. I think that there probably will be a difference. I think that the problem is that any accusation that she can make of Doug Ford, somebody can turn around and say to her, right? She goes, well, what about Doug Ford's relationship with developers? Well, what about your relationship with developers? Can you tell us more about that? So a lot of that stuff cancels itself out. It seems that there's some debate. Everybody's saying, well, Doug Ford got the candidate he wanted because basically neutralizes, but the developers got the candidate they wanted. So it doesn't matter if Doug Ford becomes too much of a liability, she could win. And it seems that how would I put it? That the NDP, Merritt Stiles, also got the candidate that she wanted.
Yes.
Right.
Well, and I expect NDP in this next provincial election, which is 2.5 years away. I think Merritt may make a huge dent because she is a fresh voice, especially in that party. And I've also noticed that the way she plays the game she's a little more aggressive. She's not laid back, and she will point out lies that Doug Ford spews and won't put up with it. And I think that might have to do, and I'm just going out on a limb here. I think that might have to do with the fact that she's a Newfoundland girl. Lard Tanner Jesus, she's not putting up with any of that shit. I'll tell you this now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my opinion. Just my opinion.
Yeah. So my fear is that we get into a situation once again, because if it is the candidate that Mayor Stiles wants, that we get. I've just seen the ads, right? As soon as someone comes in, it seems that, putting out all the memes defining somebody as soon as they're elected and trying to frame them as the new standard operating procedure.
Mhm.
So the Conservatives did their thing, and it was like, she she drives a fancy car, and she has a mansion in the Hamptons that she'll always be going away for. And it's like, excuse me, did the gravy plain party van always at his cottage in Muskoka on the phone 24/7? Phone means either see-do or ski-do, as Mr. Grizzly keeps on reminding us. Did they really say about Bonnie Crombie talking about her fancy car and her, and I'm thinking, like, with all the lead-in time that you had, because she's pretty much portrayed as the foregone winner, that's the best you can come up with. It's like, well, maybe she has a chance. Actually, that's because your first shot, it's prison yard rules, right? You take your best shot against the biggest person. That's what Pierre Poilievre did when he went after David Aitken on his first day out, and it didn't work out for him. So now he picks on smaller people. But you saw that ad right up there. It's like the New Democrats are right at it. And it's like, if the New Democrats are doing this thing where their primary focus is defeating the Liberals and not Doug Ford, we're going to end up with the exact same result we had in the last election.
Yeah, because that's what Andrea Horwath was doing, trying to defeat the Liberals. She wasn't, she
was competing again to be the progressive option rather than being the government.
Yes.
So this is a setup that can pull the NDP off course.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they think, of all the candidates that were there, if we're talking about straight name recognition and competing with Doug Ford one-on-one to win those 905 votes that he gets, then Bonnie Crombie's probably your candidate, because she's the least different from him. And if they're voting for Doug, they might vote for Bonnie more than they would vote for Nate.
True enough.
Who is, worlds different. So Doug Ford would be worried in that sense. If ever they get tired, well, we just switch to Bonnie and not much will change, and, we'll all be fine. So that is a risk to his leadership. But I mean, if we get no change in actual policy, then what's the point? And
what's the difference? Yeah.
That clip from Bonnie Crombie back in, in June, which says, well, we Liberals, we govern from right of center. That one is going to haunt her throughout the next election, because the NDP is never, ever going to stop reminding us of that one.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So...
justifiably so.
Justifiably so. She should... Again, that was a calculated decision. So, are you going to try to appeal to maintain the NDP vote, or are you going to try to steal some progressive conservative vote away from Doug Ford? It's the bigger pool of votes, clearly. So it's a strategic decision that she made. But if it doesn't work out for her, and then the left decides to, well, you're a Liberal in name only, so we're going to stick with the real deal. The Liberals can end up right where they were again, right where they are. So you never know. But this is the cast of characters that we now have, and Bonnie Crombie has X number of years now to make links with community groups to show that she truly is on their side and won't jettison them at the first opportunity. The other big question is, how much of room is she going to make for Nate Erskine-Smith in order to keep that side of the vote? Because he is a maverick. He will call her out if she's doing stuff. So it's like, it's going to be one of those things. Is it keep your friends closer, keep people who might upend your party even more close? Or given that he is... Given that he still is a federal MP, I believe. He didn't step down, right?
Yeah.
No, he's still federal LP. Maybe he'll just decide that he wants to remain in federal politics and not. So that's what I mean. So, but how much, if she is a red Tory or a blue liberal, and he is more like an orange liberal, I'm not sure where they actually bring him in if they want to, an orange liberal who has a mouth and will use it.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. But if he plans to make the jump back to provincial politics rather than staying in federal, she has to find a way to make a role for him where Nate can be Nate.
Yes.
Right. All right, Mr. Grizzly, do we have a show?
We do indeed, sir.
All right. And I know, kids, there's a lot of stuff. There's stuff about Rachel Thomas and COP28 and the fact that Netanyahu and Hamas have put the nets back on the street and said, war on again. And there's lots of stuff going on here, Molotov cocktails being thrown at Jewish community centers and stuff, which is not okay. So hopefully we'll be able to get to that later in the week for you and bring you more news on that. So we haven't forgotten about that stuff. It's just that we've had a lot of interesting guests come up in a short period of time. So, and we'll always make a place for guests first because the news can wait.
Well, I didn't even have a chance to watch. I tuned in quickly to the show on Friday and the show yesterday, but literally didn't have a chance to watch it because it was like, oh, I got to get on the plane. Anyway, yep. I haven't had a chance to view it yet, so hopefully they turned out well. Hopefully people enjoyed them, but I didn't get a chance to see them yet.
Yeah, so. I watched the Sujit one. It worked out well. I didn't have a chance to watch Tim's yesterday because I emerged from the bedroom at 9:25 yesterday morning.
Oh my God!
Yes, I slept. I really, really did sleep. And on Friday, the same thing. I emerged from the bedroom at 7:25. It's like I don't remember the last time that happened. So yeah, it was a good restful. Kit Saucy says the interviews have been great, by the way. Yay! It was a great interview. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you, Kits. I'm glad you enjoyed it. All right, Kits and Cubs, that's the end of this episode of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Crier Media Network. Oh, Kitlinda M, Tim and Joanna together would make a great show, yes. And bring in Hugh as well. 3 teachers, if we could get them all at the same time.
Oh,
that would be a great show.
I just while we're here, just before, because I do got to run quickly, but I'm looking at the calendar, and if we're going to do a pubcast this month, it's either got to be this Saturday the 9th or the 16th, because the 23rd is, we're not going to, that's
okay.
Too close to Christmas, and I have a hockey game to go to that night, so,
Okay, the 9th I can't, maybe the 16th I can.
Okay, that's all. Yeah. So we're going to pencil in the 16th.
Okay. Let's pencil in the 16th. All right. That's the end of this episode. We hope that you love listening to us because we love making it for you. Sharing is caring. So please keep that word of mouth going. It is priceless to us because democracy is something that you do. If you're in Ontario, take a couple of days off. You voted in the Ontario Liberal leadership. You deserve a couple of days off. That's good. We can get back to it in a couple of days. But get your XBB shots, your flu shots, your RSV shots, your pneumococcal shots, please. Let's keep our hospitals unclogged. The rate of COVID is going up. I believe the last time I saw a confirmation rate nationally, I think it was over 20%. Test positivity rate, and in some cities like Winnipeg was over 28%. So please do mask up. I know some people might look at you a little weird, but if you're on public transit or public places, do mask up because XBB is a different. The shot's a whole different shot. It's not just a booster. And XBB, is affecting people. People are catching it a lot. The absentee rate in schools and stuff is going sky high, and so.
Well, for the record, I read the other day that more people have died of COVID in 2023 than did in 2020 and 2021.
Yep. And it was, and we presented the numbers just on the show before we left that we did live, that for 2022 it was biggest year as well. So, and our premiers are not reporting and they're not promoting the vaccination campaigns. They're literally patting themselves on the back for running surpluses and having
COVID is over.
Having high GDP as they're literally just letting us die. They're literally just letting us die. So
I want you to die for my economy.
Yeah, we are on our own. So mask up and get your shots, please. Yay, capitalism, indeed. If you would like to subscribe and make sure that you do not miss an episode, you go to our pod page, sponsored by the fabulous, the wonderful, the feisty, the gorgeous, the Ray Girl. You just add the in front of everything.
The Twitter.
Yes, the Twitter. So you go to www.podpage.com/the True North Eager Beaver, lowercase letters with a hyphen between each one of those words. And when we have something fresh off the bandwidth, we'll come directly to you. And if you like subscribing to stuff, we are so close. I think we are 23 away from 500 on our YouTube channel. So please go there, True North Eager Beaver Media YouTube channel, and click on like, share, and importantly, subscribe. And that helps us get to 500. And then we can start using other features on our channel. Yes.
Well, yes.
Yes. And like Elaine says, page, not cage.
Yes. Well, and one of the features of once you get to 500 in YouTube, what you can do is we can create additional content on a like a paid basis. So if you subscribe, but if you join the page, and we'll have to set the tiers. There's like, I don't know what the price is. You can set 3 different tiers, and each tier gets additional content. So we might have some behind-the-scenes interview stuff, a daily thing that, a little snippet here and there. So we're working it out.
Yep.
We're working it out. We got to get to the number first.
Yes,
right?
absolutely. And a coffee, of course. If you would like to support us here at the Beaver Lodge to help us do more, if you like the interview guests that we've had recently, if you like the content that we've been producing, it's the holiday season. We know that usually for the holidays, maybe you're giving dollars go to other causes. That's fine.
Which is fine. We
get it. But if you happen to have a few loonies jingling to throw our way, that squiggly that Mr. Grizzly just had up there brings you to our coffee page, and that's coffee, ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, lowercase letters, all in one word. And that's where you can make your contribution to the Eager Beaver Lodge Emergency Hydration Fund. I tripped over my tongue there. I think I need some hydration from the Beaver Lodge. This is your Eager Beaver saying, it could be a tough world out there, so please be kind to and gentle with yourself. Mr. Grizzly, some words of wisdom, please.
Put your boots on today. If you're in the national capital, the streets are wet and slushy and messy, so put an extra layer on, stay warm, stay dry, and if you're behind the wheel, please drive with caution.
Oh, you guys got a lot of snow, eh?
Yeah.
Apparently, it's come our way, and only 1 centimeter fell here.
I landed yesterday. Like when I left Calgary, it was like 2 or 3 degrees, dry. Well, dry. It's Calgary, but no snow anywhere. There's snow in the mountains, but none in the city at all. So when I landed in Ottawa, it was wet, snowy, freezing rain, slushy. Driving from the airport back, I took an Uber and going up the airport parkway. It was beautiful because you got the trees all covered in snow, and it is beautiful. And my driver, who's been in Canada for a year, he didn't disclose where he was from, so I didn't ask because I thought that would be rude. But we had a really nice chat, and I was like, thank you for coming here. We need more people. And he was like, well, thank you. He was really happy, but he's like, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I'm like, see, this is why this guy's a Canadian. He's been here 1 year, first snowfall. He loves it. Give him his citizenship.
Well, the other day, I left curling, and I was waiting at the bus shelter, and there was a guy here from Nigeria. It's like, I understand when you've been here the first year, you think it's all nice, but it's just damn cold. It seems that the novelty wears off after a year or two.
One of my colleagues who's been here for 25 years now, I think, he's from Nigeria. His name is also Paul. And when he moved to Canada, he moved here in January to Winnipeg.
Just hand them a citizenship right away.
Like, if you make it through the winter in Winnipeg from Nigeria, just citizenship. You don't even need to stay a year. Like citizenship.
Just hand it to him. Just hand it to him. You're Canadian now, definitely.
Damn straight.
Ooh, all right, kids. I guess we roll the credits.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver media podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and The Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
All right, before we go, kids, because it is the season of giving, um, as you know, Jeff Ballingall and Canada Proud has decided to that free speech should not be necessarily for everyone, and they are trying to affect crier media and Dean's ability to speak. They claim that it is defamation and that it is hurting their reputation. That
By telling the truth.
by yes. So one of the ways that people with deep pockets try to ensure that other people don't talk is by suing them and forcing to defend what they said in court, claiming that their reputation has been damaged. So we're looking to raise 25,000, and it's not
We're halfway
just
there.
we're already halfway there, and it's not just to defend, but to countersue. So when you countersue, you make claims of the other party too. So um, if you want discovery to happen,
Which is what we really
is what
want
we
here.
really want here, we would ask for your help with that. Now, it could very well be that if we do raise the money and we make a counterclaim, that they decide to pull theirs because they don't want to share discovery. That is always an option. But if they want to go to the wall with it, then yes, discovery. It's a wonderful thing. So if you would like that to happen, please donate there. All right, kids? Because freedom of expression, or free speech, as they say, really should be for everyone.
And here's something that Ryan pointed out, that fonts matter.
So does spacing, by the way.
Well, yes. I'm just going to put this, I'm not going to read it out loud. Well, I'll read it the way it's meant to be.
Yes.
But it'll be interpreted completely different.
Yes.
So if we look at this poster promoting Family Flicks on the Farm, September 6th, except the L and the I is capital I, but he used a lowercase. Well, he used an I without the line on the top and the bottom, and the L and the I look like a U. I think you can understand where that ended up on the wrong end of font world.
That's a really close family. Flicks, kids, flicks. All right.
Flicks. I'll see ya.